You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Jane Moore, Denise Welsh, Frankie Bridge, and Janet Street Porter.
Hello and welcome to your Tuesday Loose Women. Now, we've got a whole hour of topical talk for you today, including all of this. Should we ask pensioners to unretire and go back to full-time work? Yes, here they all are, skiving off. Go back to full-time work to help the economy and boost the bank balance of younger people. Our big money debate in just a few minutes. Also today, after one woman received a tattoo removal voucher from her mother-in-law for her birthday. How much does your in-laws' approval matter to you? Now, I think Janet's going to be an expert on that one. She might also be an expert on this. Would you let AI plan your wedding? Apparently, it could help you or your loved one cut down on costs on the big day. Find out how and what happened when we asked a robot to plan our fictional weddings. But first, one of the big stories today, and it's about TV producer Daisy Goodwin. She created the hit series Victoria, and she's written in today's papers to accuse the man who could become London's next mayor, that's Daniel Korski, of groping her during a business meeting in number 10 Downing Street 10 years ago. Now, she says her decision to name him was a genuine moral dilemma, and adds that at the end of the meeting, we both stood up and Korski, to my astonishment, put his hand on my breast. Now, Mr. Korski, we should say, strongly denies the allegation. But was she right to come forward, Janet? I mean, a lot of people are saying 10 years ago. Why now?
I can see why she didn't come forward at the time. She would have been worried it would affect her career because her production company made documentaries as well as dramas, and, you know, you don't want to fall out with people when you're trying to, you know, run a successful business. I agree with why she's come out now, because the person she's made the accusations about is not only running to be the Tory Mayor of London, but he's saying that he's one of his big campaigns is to look after women and protect women. So if that's the case, then we want to know his backstory and, you know, whether he really does talk the talk and whether he's treated women with respect throughout his working life. I mean, speaking from my own perspective, having worked in the media since the age of 21, you know, even 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you know, you were groped, you were touched, and you just kind of froze and didn't do anything about it. Because if you were trying to claw your way up the pyramid of power in any organisation, it would be a really bad idea to say, so-and-so grabbed my tits in the lift, or so-and-so's hand lingered on my bum as I, you know, was at the office party. So you didn't say anything. And I think she's brave to say it now, because I think because of Me Too, I think women feel they can speak out. And I think she's hoping that by coming out and accusing Daniel Korski of this, other women will come forward and say it happened to them too.
Yeah, it's interesting. In one of the articles, she's saying there seems to be like a real reticence among her friends. They're sort of saying, look, you know, do you really want to put yourself out there and do this? And she's sort of saying, well, I've got 2 daughters and I feel that, you know, to make the workplace a less sort of predatory area for them, then we older women do need to speak out, particularly when we are in positions of power now where maybe, you know, it's not going to affect us going forward.
She's got the confidence now. And also, you know, so many politicians are saying now that, you know, they want to look out for women, they want to fight for women's rights, and they understand our pain. And I'm saying, if you understand our pain and you want to speak on our behalf, make sure there's no skeletons in your cupboard, that's all.
Yeah. But actually also, It'll be interesting to see how this develops. It'll be interesting to see, first of all, whether anybody else comes forward, but also how it affects the situation, because, of course, we know in America that Donald Trump was actually caught on tape saying something very inappropriate and became president.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a... I completely agree with you. I've been very lucky in that I've never actually, you know, been groped or abused. And I realise I've been lucky because most people I know, especially in corporate situations, and you being such a businesswoman, have been in all of your life. And for someone who is as strong and opinionated and confident as you to feel that you couldn't come forward, I really understand that culture. It's a difficult one because there is nothing I can say that she is completely right, especially as we've said, as this man is now going to be in a position where part of his job is, the way that he will be elected is to say, I'm going to protect women. At the same time, I have always been fairly vocal on the fact that when people are accused of sexual offences and other things, that until it gets to charge, they shouldn't be named, because we have all witnessed several high-profile men and some women who have had their lives ruined when it's not been true. Also, in a court of law, if I may quote Daisy Goodwin, when she says things like, his behaviour was so bizarre that over the years I couldn't help seeing the humour in it. It was as if I had walked into Carry On Downing Street. That, to me, you know, I'm not saying that because she said that she wasn't mentally scarred by it, it's not the case. But it's such a grey area with this. She is, of course, putting herself massively on the line because if other people don't come forward, she has been the only person.
I think, though, as Janet said, it's the hypocrisy of standing on a ticket of, well, one of the tickets of protecting women. And also, she went into a meeting in Downing Street. It was a business meeting. She went there not to, you know, have a social chit-chat. She went with an agenda to discuss a potential film or programme. And then when someone starts saying you look like a woman who's in a Bond film,
well, no,
it's not appropriate.
Well, what he said to her initially, and please accept that I am not condoning anything to do with this man. I know very little about this until today. But she says that when this guy said to her, she was wearing sunglasses, and he said, they make you look like Monica Bellucci, who was the Italian film actress. Now, me personally, even in a business situation, I wouldn't be offended by that. Now, you said you would be because it was a business situation. So I do think there are, you know, him groping her breast, of course, is something that...
I think she only mentioned that as the precursor to then what happened. But Frankie, very quickly, I wanted to bring you in because obviously you were a lot younger than we are, but you did enter a very adult world as a young person. Have you ever experienced inappropriate behaviour, or were you kind of chaperoned to the extent that you were looked after?
I think I was really well looked after and really sheltered from anything like that. I do think as I've got older, other people, and probably since I've been on Loose Women, other people around me have recognised maybe a way someone has been towards me and asked me if I felt comfortable with it. And it then made me think, oh, actually, yeah, that maybe does cross the line. But I think it's that same thing of feeling like you're not in enough power for it to be wrong, to feel like you don't kind of deserve that thing or that it's right.
Or you blame yourself.
Yeah, you blame yourself, and it's that grey area. But I think it's sad that she didn't feel strong enough to say it till now, and I understand why she hasn't said it until now. But I feel like there may have been a lot of women from that time to now that maybe she could have saved from that situation. So it's just sad that people don't feel like they can speak up.
OK, well, a spokesperson for Mr Kurski said, in the strongest possible terms, Dan categorically denies any allegation of inappropriate behaviour whatsoever. Now, moving on, good news for pensioners in the news today. Growing inflation means a growing pension. The state pension triple lock means that pensions rise every year by 2%, the rate of inflation. Sadly, though, everyone else will have to pay more tax to make it work. Now, there are some suggestions, though, that pensioners could unretire and go back into full-time work to help boost the economy. Is this a good idea, Denise?
I think by the woo from the audience, there's a few of us of a similar age in this studio today. I just feel that if I've retired and I'm with my husband pottering around the antique shops of life doing lovely things, and I get a letter saying, you have to return to work to save the economy, they can go and themselves, to be perfectly honest with you. I've done a lot in my life. I've paid enough taxes. I've paid enough everything to enjoy my retirement. Having said that, I am 65 now, so, you know, I'm coming up to the age where many people retire.
Current state pension 66, but it's going to rise to 67 years old from 2026. And then it's going to go up to 68 years old between 2044. So you'll be 68.
It'll be about 90 by the time.
Every time I get near to it, it goes a bit further away.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the government could claw back some of the money made from the VIP lane during the last few years, but never mind. But yet again, put it all onto us. Having said that, there are a lot of older people, myself included, Janet included, who are still working through choice. My mum-in-law, who's 77 now, worked at John Lewis for 40 years. Other department stores are available. And if she could go back, she's got a hip problem, but if she could go back, she would love to. She loved to work. She would be somebody, but that would be a voluntary return to work, which some people are. You know, apparently there's been a huge increase in older people.
I think it depends on
that people don't want to work. And I think, like you say, there's a lot of older people that do want to still work, but they just can't.
And there's a lot of our Gen Zs that don't want to work.
But also, I think it depends on the profession, because if you look, I mean, they're suffering a lot from a lack of doctors and medical staff, and, you know, a lot of them retire quite early.
Yeah, one of my friends who's a doctor is actually going to go back in and work 2 or 3 days a week.
And what great experience to bring back into that workplace. But don't you think also they would lose a lot of staffing in the charity sector, because a lot of retired people will go and keep the charity sector going?
Oh, yeah, but I, at the moment, half of the total increase of people in work or looking for work is men over 65, and there's a very large number of women, 6.8% of this increase is older women too. Now, they're not all just going back to work because they want the social life. They're going back to work because of inflation and the cost of living rises. And it's always a big mistake to talk about pensioners as if they're one big homogenous group. I'm a pensioner, some of the people in the audience are pensioners, and we all look completely differently and think differently. And I know that a lot of people of my generation have not paid off their mortgage because they never had a mortgage. They've still not got a mortgage and they're living in rented accommodation. A lot of people I know have been forced to retire, although laws have been passed to stop that now. And they're managing on very little. And so you can't group all pensioners together and say, oh, well, once again, you know, it's the younger generation subsidising the older generation. I mean, having said that, I do think that fuel allowances and so on should be means tested, and that, you know, Tories are so frightened of offending their core group of voters that they were never going to change pension rises or bring them.
And as you say, I don't think people should necessarily be forced back to it. Some people have, especially our generation, have worked 5-day weeks solidly, you know, tough hours. They don't have the work-life balance that maybe your generation
we also
has.
have a job that we enjoy.
And I don't even know my generation. I suppose I'm a bit different. I've worked differently from a young age, but I do think now there's this kind of everyone is trying to find the work-life balance, and maybe we've all had it wrong and we've kind of worked too much and not had the other side of the balance. But now I think it's kind of going the other way, where a lot of people kind of don't want to work so much in the younger generation, but they kind of still want the life and the money with it.
Well, if they did want to work, we would be able to go to a hotel or a restaurant or a cafe and find it fully staffed.
Well,
but at the moment...
I was going to say, Janet, you know, to those in the hospitality industry, please consider employing ex-retired people who might give us some service now when we go to a restaurant or a shop, and have people who know what they're talking about.
That's a whole other topic for another day. But, yeah, we should also consider, of course, that a lot of people that have worked in manual labour jobs, which is very tough, there's a finite number of years that you can do that, and you deserve a break. Now then, still to come, we're talking signature style and revealing why more of us are dreaming of finding love in the sun. And it's the ultimate couples conundrum. We'll be discussing if you crave for your in-laws' approval. One of us here does, and it's probably not who you think. See you soon. Nice to see you again. Still to come, we're talking fashion. Do you have a signature style? Find out the story behind this iconic tartan look, courtesy of our Janet. And from French discothèque lover Laurent to Hugo, the Air Force pilot, we're revealing our summer romances that didn't quite stand the test of time. Competition time before all of that, though, and it's a guaranteed biggie. We're giving away £250,000. Oh, yes, Andy Peters is the man in the know.
£250,000. That's what you could be winning in our fantastic competition. Yes, we're giving away £250,000. Let me repeat that. £250,000 is up for grabs. That's the same as having £20,000 being deposited in your bank account every month for a whole year. Plus, it's totally tax-free, so every single penny will be all yours. Just think of what you could splash out on with £250,000. Holidays galore, cars, pay off some of your mortgage or rent, treat your family and friends. The choices are endless. For another chance to win £250,000, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message, or go to the website. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 27, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 7th of July. Good luck.
Thanks, Andy. Now, after one woman received a tattoo removal voucher from her mother-in-law as a gift, causing outrage, it got us thinking about our own relationships with our in-laws and whether you long for the approval of your partner's parents. You live with yours, don't you?
I do, yeah. They must like me a little bit. I think I always have done. I think even, you know, with boyfriends, I just think it just makes your life and their life so much easier. Like, I couldn't imagine being married to someone and everyone not getting on. I just think it would be awful. I did have one boyfriend once whose mum didn't like me, and I found it so hard. And they didn't have a great relationship, so I kind of made it my, like, mission to kind of make the whole family get along a lot nicer, which I thought was a nice thing to do. But she still blooming hated me.
Why do you think that was? Did you ever find out why?
I don't know, I think...
Or did she just hate everyone?
Maybe. I think maybe she saw it as me taking her son away from her. I don't know, whereas actually I was trying to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of encouraged spending Christmases together and things like that. But I do sometimes think, oh, I'd like to think I'll be the nice mother-in-law, but I'm just not sure how I feel about it yet.
And you've been on holiday with yours, just, haven't you?
Just last week, yeah, we're on a cruise with Jen. I'm very, very fortunate that I love my mum-in-law. Lincoln's dad died when he was only 14, and there she is, this Jen. And he was also incredibly close to my dad. And I do honestly believe, and it might sound a bit corny, but having lost my own mum, I do feel that Jen fills a sort of hole in my heart, really, that, you know, that mum left. I'm incredibly lucky because I have friends who have the complete opposite, as in, like you said, they seem to think that there is a rivalry over the son's affection, which I would absolutely hate. I'm much more about let's get the families together. In previous relationships, if my partner hasn't had a good relationship with their family, I try to make it all better. I have one daughter-in-law with my stepson, Lewis, Lizzie, and I'm so grateful that I get on with Lizzie because they've now given us beautiful Theo, our grandson. The thought of that relationship not being right, I would lose out on that.
And did you get on with Jen literally from day one?
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, I'm a much more open person than the Townleys. I trust everybody until somebody makes me lose the trust. The Townleys trust nobody until they gain their trust.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to work very hard on the relationship, but it was very important to me. And I knew it would be to Lincoln as well, because he loves his mum.
And how many mother-in-laws have you seen off now?
I've had 4 mother-in-laws and 2 long-term relationships which were like mother-in-laws. Generally, they hated me.
Why?
Actually, the really weird thing, I don't know, because I was taking this, I was having sex with this. Whatever. I mean, the really weird thing is that I really, really wanted them to like me, and the more I wanted them to like me, the worse it went.
Oh.
And, you know, I'm not someone I sit here day in, day out and mouthing off, having opinions about this.
You're not a people pleaser, are you?
You're really
But
not.
honestly, I would go around and grovel. I basically grovel.
Why?
And one of my husbands, when his mum died, she even wrote into a memorial service at a funeral a line that said the low point in her life was when her son married me.
Oh, Janet!
That's awful!
Even from the grave, I was
Janet!
please.
But even though you were working
hell.
so hard, that's quite a...
Maybe I haven't got the right face.
Or
that when
maybe,
I'm
maybe you meet the wrong men with the wrong mums.
Yeah, probably.
No,
Who does that?
My favourite of all was when I had a long relationship with a photographer called Norman Anderson, and his mum was from Jamaica, and I actually adored her. And every Sunday, because they were, you know, they were quite conservative, I would go there for Sunday lunch, and he said to me, whatever you do, wear a knee-length skirt and look respectable. And do you know what? I did. I would not wear the short
What, and she
skirt.
still didn't like you?
Well, actually, I got on better with her than any of the others. The others were a disaster. And the first mother-in-law, oh, my goodness, she was so posh. She made me feel about that big. And the first lunch I went to their house for, first course, it's imprinted on my brain, artichoke. I mean, it could have been a B-52 bomber sitting on my plate. I didn't know what to do with it. Second course, grouse. I was just shocked. Then I subsequently found out she was a coal miner's daughter from County Durham.
Hyacinth bouquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't want another working-class person in that house. It's funny.
nice.
It's a funny old thing, isn't it? I mean, I've always, I think, avoided men. I like men that get on with their mums, but you can see quite quickly when they've got an overpowering mother that controls their life, and I think I've always avoided men like that. So
Note
I've always
to
got
self,
on with
don't
my
phone my
in-laws.
son 3 times today.
Well, we asked you if you get on with your mother-in-law. 90% said no. Now,
Did they?
come after
Abnormal.
1 o'clock. It's
low.
fashion time. We'll be giving each other an honest review on the signature styles that we love. Ready for that, Denise? And for picking your dress to choosing a cheap and cheerful venue perfectly suited to you, we're using AI. See you in a minute.
From BGT to the West End stage, he's Telly's most multi-talented star. Tomorrow, Ashley Banjo joins Loose Women to reveal why he's taken a trip down the yellow brick road and how he's moving on after a difficult year. Ashley Banjo, tomorrow from 12:30.
Welcome back to your Tuesday Loose Women, getting loose-licked this lunchtime with me, Jane Moore. It's Frankie Bridge, Janet Street Porter and Denise Welsh. Now, in the chaos of the last part, mother-in-laws, just to clarify, 90% of you said you don't crave your in-laws' approval. Not that you don't like them.
That's very different.
Yeah.
Just to clear that up. Now, in just a few minutes, why that famous jumper worn by Princess Diana could be about to make someone a whole load of money. And later on, do you secretly dream of ditching everything and heading off into the sun to find love, just like Shirley Valentine did? Or is a holiday romance doomed to fail? But before that, some good news now. And if you fancy a trip to London to come and see us, we've just released a whole load of new free audience tickets for September and beyond. Now, who wouldn't want a ringside seat for moments like this one?
Let's cheers to the king,
Yes,
sweetheart.
now remember, don't clink.
Cheers
Just
to
say the king.
The king.
Judy, finger in, please.
Oh.
Thank you.
Do not put your
Other
finger
than that,
out.
it's lovely. No, not finger out.
Why?
No. Well, it was a sign in the French court that someone had a sexually transmitted disease. If you...
I think they had their leg out, not their finger in.
Oh dear, you can apply now at itv.com/loose women. Now then, Monty Python legend John Cleese surprised fans recently when he announced that the upcoming stage remake of The Life of Brian will not include the iconic crucifixion scene. He says the joke simply isn't as shocking or funny as it was 40 years ago. But as the saying goes, are the old jokes still the best, or do they belong in an old jokes home? There's only one person to go to first on this subject, Denise.
Honestly, if a joke is funny, it will stand the test of time. So this, I've told this one before.
No. Not one of your rude
No.
Is it allowed?
No.
It's not about the woman on the bus.
Little old Geordie woman goes to the doctor's and she says, "Doctor, every time I lift up my arm, it stinks of coconut." And he says, "Well, it's Bounty."
They are. Other chocolate bars are available, but aren't as funny.
Can you explain that to me?
It's bound to. It's bound to. Is that? It's Bounty in Geordie.
All right.
You had to be there.
Hilarious.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Go on, Janet, tell us one of your crackers.
Do you know, I agree with...
I don't do jokes. Honestly, Denise, I haven't got that gene that means when confronted with an audience, I have to tell a sexually dubious joke to make myself feel at home.
It is the way you tell them, though, because you do, you know, you have got a couple of jokes that you wrote, not in life, but here.
No, I have, and I've got...
We've heard them a lot.
Do you know,
the same jokes, and
but
you've
I
heard
laugh
them a lot.
every single time.
Yeah.
Even though I've heard it before, because you're a good joke teller.
But are you laughing at the joke or at Denise?
No, the joke. It's good.
If a joke is, to me, if a joke is funny, it will stand the test of time.
I look on myself as a walking joke, so I'm just like an art.
But as you've been in a few marriages,
Yeah.
did you not find
My life's like a caper movie, isn't it?
Well, no, but I was going to say, when you're in a long-term relationship, sometimes one of the things is if you're married to somebody that tells jokes, you do have to sit at various dinner tables and listen to the same joke over, don't you?
I've never been married to anyone who can tell a joke.
Give me your face when someone's telling a joke you've heard
She
a
just
million
did it at
times.
mine.
Just your face,
Well,
Janet.
on that...
What do you mean it's just my face? I was putting on a face then.
It's all laughs here. Who could forget Princess Diana's famous sheep jumper that she wore in 1981 while watching Prince Charles at a polo match? Well, it's been in an attic for 40 years. That makes me feel very old. And might now fetch up to £70,000 at auction. But do you have a certain look or style that people associate you with, Janet?
Well, I know what style I've got. It is my personal style and what I'm comfortable in. And looking back over the years, I suppose it's been trial and error in the public eye. And I've made some real bad decisions and I've worn some absolutely ludicrous clothes. But when I look at what works, I'm really clear. It's got to be like tailored clothes. This suit is 1988. And I mean, that's a fantastic...
Have you still got it?
No, I sold it.
Look at you there.
That would be about 1975, 76.
You've always been very into fashion, though, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I was a fashion editor, first of all, and then I think that never really stops, you know.
And a model, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a model as well. But I think nice clothes and looking good makes me feel really good, and then if I have got the wrong clothes on, I actually feel a bit sick. And if I'm with someone who's dressed really badly...
And what about Frankie? I would say, if someone said to me, what about Frankie? I would say you're fashion forward. Is that the right term?
Oh, I don't know if it's right.
Well, you always walk in something and I think, oh, those are nice. And then about 3 weeks later, I see them going, oh, this is the latest.
Thanks! You know what? I love that. I always feel like I'm always trying to catch up with fashion. You know, like when something's cool and then everyone else has thought it's cool for about 6 months and I'm like, it's gross, and then it takes me a while to like it.
Yeah.
That's normally
Look at you in a lift. The rest of us
I know, yeah.
slumped against the buttons. Look at you.
I don't know. Yeah, I find it hard to I think it's hard to describe yourself and your own style. I think it's almost easier to look at other people's. Like, I would look at Denise. You said you didn't feel like you had a style. And I feel like yours is really bright. Like, when I look at your clothes and stuff, I think it fully describes your personality. And your lipstick, you came in with a different coloured lipstick on today, and it completely threw me.
I always have a poppy lipstick, which our producer thought I'd said I wear a Popeye lipstick, whatever that would mean. But yeah, I suppose my hair is quite a signature, just because I've had it the same since 1936.
You do like bright colours, though, don't you?
I do like bright colours. I've always liked bright
And those
bright
platform
colours.
trainers.
My platform trainers, which I haven't got on today, but my buffalo trailers. So I suppose, like you said, I don't think of myself as having a style. It used to really annoy Carol McGiffin, who used to hate my love of double denim. So I would wear triple denim when I was with her, and she actually lost the plot at my denim Uggs.
I mean, I think I'd lose the plot.
Yeah,
Denim.
Double denim's
them.
back in.
It is,
Yes, I know.
So, yeah.
Perhaps not underneath.
I think my style is simple is my style. I think that's, apart from on here when I
Not
wear
simple,
bright.
like
You're very
classic
chic.
and...
You're very
Yeah,
classic.
quite masculine.
No, you're not.
Anyway,
to the same
run out of
pair.
time on me, thank God. Coming up next, find out what happened when we left it to robots to plan our dream weddings with some rather hilarious results. From Wish You Were Here to Wish It Never Happened. From Denise's ski slopes fling to Frankie's childhood sweetheart. We're talking holiday romances and can they ever last? See you in a minute. Welcome back to the final part of your Tuesday Loose Women, and we've let AI plan our weddings, not that we're actually having one, and the results will be revealed at the end of the show. But gorgeous beaches, gorgeous food, and an even more gorgeous Greek bar owner. Shirley Valentine had it all, didn't she? Well, at least for a while anyway, but apparently more and more of us have got a desire to jet off on holiday and fall in love. But despite that, just 48% of us have the confidence to actually make anything happen once we get there. So we're talking today about our own holiday romances. Have you ever had one, Frankie?
I did actually, but when I was really young, I fell in love. Well, I was only about 8, I think. Sadly, it didn't last. Weirdly, it didn't stand the test of time.
Where were you?
I don't know. I think we might have been on holiday in Turkey or something. It was like a family holiday, and turns out I might have been a bit of a one when I was younger, because on that same holiday I had breakfast and dinner with different families apparently on the holiday. But this one.
Just you on your own?
Just me. I just made my way around everyone's tables, apparently. But this one family I particularly liked their son. I've got a picture of him on holiday. I was with him for the whole holiday. It was very serious. And I still remember his name. So he obviously made a big impact. Whether or not he remembers me, I don't know.
Aww. Densey?
I've had loads. But I didn't go away with the intention of meeting somebody, but I used to like that excitement of, I didn't want to go away like people go on sort of Britpack holidays and want to meet other Brits and all that kind of stuff. I can't think of anything worse, but I used to want to go away and meet sort of like the Italian waiter or the Greek waiter and stuff like that. But I did go skiing when I was in my late 20s. I'd never been skiing before, and I had an affair with my ski instructor called Florian. And I'm still a terrible skier. I learnt very little skiing. I was much more interested in the après ski, to the point that if I ski today, I still get caught in that orange netting at the top when you come off the butt lip. So it never taught me how to ski, but I had a very pleasant week.
He taught you other things.
Yes, he did. He did. It was
There's
very,
something
very
rather
nice.
lovely about. I remember just after my O-levels, I went on holiday with my mates camping in France, and we were all on the beach, and it was like that sort of famous diet drink advert. This boy came out of the sea with the wetsuit down to the waist, you know, and he obviously loved himself, but anyway. So we were like that. And then he was in the campsite disco that night. So I thought, yep. And he was called Laurent, and he was from Paris. And, yeah, we snogged each other's faces off for a week. It was marvellous.
Love that.
Marvellous.
My first holiday romance was also a French bloke. It was my first trip abroad with my mum and dad, who were like, you know, vigilant to the max. I was 15. I was desperate to lose my virginity. And I was honestly, they were watching me.
Do not try this at home.
Well,
Wasn't expecting that.
well, I was hot to trot. Anyway, I met this gorgeous French guy who was in the French Air Force training to be a pilot, called Hugo. And We'd just be in the disco with him every night. We'd be
Hugo.
snogging, blah, blah, blah. He was very well behaved and didn't do the deed.
Right, good
But
for
my
him.
mother, the minute she clapped eyes on him, there was as many photos as my mum with her arm around Hugo as me, and I guess he was about 21 at the time. So, yeah, holiday romances. It fizzled out like they all do. You write a few letters when you get home.
I think some last.
Go on. I had another one with trying to make it. I can't get into this iPad. Hopeless. We did have some comments, but I met this other guy called Jerry when I was on a long weekend in Blackpool with my mates. Yeah.
You had a holiday romance in the UK?
In Blackpool. He was
Blackpool?
He was Scottish. He was Scottish, and they you know, on their 2 week sort of like holiday or whatever, down they came. But then he turned up at my house like ages later, and I was like, no.
No, you're in your box.
What's in Blackpool stays in Blackpool, yeah. Right, competition time now, and it's a prize that will make this summer one that you'll never forget. Andy's here with how you can enter to win our incredible prize.
We're all very excited here at ITV as we could be calling one of you at home to say you've won a life-changing £250,000. Yep, that's right, £250,000. With all of that tax-free cash, you could be having your best summer yet. Luxury holidays, endless shopping, swanky cars, a boat. The choice is yours. Just imagine all those extra zeros in your bank account. We love making winners here at ITV, and in the last 12 months, we've made 429 of them and given away over £7 million. If you fancy becoming £250,000 richer this summer, get entering now. It only takes seconds, and the quickest way is to text. For another chance to win £250,000, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message, or go to the website. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 27, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 7th of July. Good luck!
Thanks, Andy. Now, planning a wedding is up there with one of life's most stressful and costly experiences. But what if I told you that AI robots, or artificial intelligence, could plan everything from the hen party to the wedding venue and even choose your dress, all within a budget? Well, they can. Sort of. They offer all sorts of suggestions for brides-to-be, and it could have saved you a whole load of time and money, Janet. What do you think?
I think it's a very dodgy idea. You'd only use AI if you wanted to marry a robot, surely. I mean, we all want the blokes we're marrying to be compliant and fit in with our way, not theirs. But, I mean, I don't want a robot to plan my...
No, but say if you have got a set budget and you know sort of like you want to get married in a castle and you want a certain type of number of guests.
I've done all different weddings.
Yeah.
I've done one in the East End of London. I've done one in Yorkshire. I've done one in Las Vegas.
You could be a wedding planner.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I've one in Chelsea, the first one.
Yeah.
So I've tried out all different venues. Oh, please don't show that photo of me. I've never looked like that since that day. That is 1967.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't even look like you.
Looks nothing like.
Well, OK, look, we got AI to plan weddings. So, as you can see, I've got Frankie's AI wedding
What could
here.
go wrong?
So the dress, it would be cutting edge and fashion forward.
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
How generic.
Now it's gone a bit wrong. It says a fitted mermaid or trumpet silhouette would accentuate her curves.
OK.
Might be a combination of fabrics that you would prefer, a satin bodice with lace or tulle accents.
OK.
Whatever that means. Music is likely to be a central aspect of your big day.
True.
You might even take the stage yourself.
Absolutely not.
And your cake would be multi-tiered with at least 3 or 4 tiers to make a glamorous statement.
No. The minute you say wedding to anyone that bakes cakes, it like triples in price, doesn't it? And I learnt that at my wedding, so I would not be having a triple-tiered cake if I got married again.
So whose wedding have you got there?
I've got Denise.
Oh, God.
Right, so your hen do. Denise has also showcased her dancing skills on TV shows, so consider organising a dance party. Hire a dance instructor who
No,
can
I'm
teach a
sober
fun
nowadays,
and
that
energetic
won't happen.
routine. Okay? The dress, Denise's personal style, often leans towards a combination of elegance and modernity.
Why are you laughing?
No, it doesn't, no.
No, I love you, but I wouldn't have said elegant.
She's thinking about those denim Uggs.
Yeah, the wedding. As an advocate for mental health awareness and inclusivity, her wedding might reflect these values by promoting a supportive environment for all guests and ensuring accessibility for those with different needs. I'd say that's right. Denise would want to include personal touches to her big day too, like incorporating family heirlooms, displaying cherished photographs, or including special readings or performances by loved ones.
This could be any...
I know.
Janet, who have you got?
Oh, Janet.
I've got yours. Oh. Right. This does read like it was written by a robot. Never met you.
That's because it was.
Yeah. So, your dress, a classic and timeless silhouette, A-line or fit and flare, whatever that is. You've got a sophisticated style, apparently. Traditional wedding colours such as ivory or white.
Like most.
Or even blush or champagne.
Oh, no.
To be unique. So you've got a professional image and a refined style, and your wedding would embrace timeless elegance. Oh, this is about as exciting as reading the train timetable. All right, so...
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
Before we run out of time.
OK,
Janet,
I've got Janet, well, understandably unconventional fashion choices.
Yeah.
A deep emerald green or rich royal blue. Now, going by that first photo, asymmetrical ruffles...
Ruffles?
Would come back
ruffles.
in. A bold headpiece. Given Janet's reputation for being unconventional, her wedding would deviate from traditional norms. Well, you had a traditional norm, didn't you, Normski?
Yeah, I've had one norm.
You've had one norm.
Another.
And the wedding day would include notable figures, obviously us, although we probably wouldn't be invited, and include unusual entertainment options and unexpected surprises, which I don't think you would want at your wedding.
No, I wouldn't like that.
So absolutely no, thank you.
Does it say whether I'm doing the catering or not?
No, it doesn't say anything about the food whatsoever.
There's no food.
No. I think basically we can all surmise it's just gone on Google and looked up stuff.
Yeah, it's
general wedding.
Yeah. You're having a high-quality dining experience, so I'm going to your one if you do it again.
Right, well, what a show. That is it for today. Tomorrow we're off to see the Wizard. Ashley Banjo on his new West End show is going to be here telling us all about it. We will see you at 12:30 as usual. Bye-bye.